So let's not waste any time and get straight into buy-to-let property costs of buying an investment property in the UK. So take a look on this side of the screen. Here is one I made earlier that breaks down all the buy-to-let property costs. And let's go line by line. So I tend to target terraced houses, 2-bed terraced houses at the moment, ones that haven't got damp, ideally. Inside joke for you, watch my other videos on my issues and my saga with damp.
And so we don't have the capacity.
But I digress. I tend to look for 2-bed buy-to-let properties that are terraced and freehold. Why? Because with freehold properties, you can add value. And I love doing that. I'm not just about letting out my buy-to-let property and enjoying the income from that. I'm about adding value and refurbing and releasing equity and all that good stuff. But I've made other videos on that, so check out my channel. So I tend to target buy-to-let properties that cost in the region of £110,000 in the north of England. You can see at the top of this graphic here, I've put Liverpool because Liverpool is a property that I bought in before and I'm looking to go back to. Again, I sold it for various reasons, but I'm looking to get back into Liverpool. And the great thing about Liverpool, guys, is that it's had so much regeneration, so much development, so much investment, but properties are still cheap, relatively speaking, to other developed cities in the UK. So I'm a big fan of Liverpool. So a 2-bed terrace buy-to-let property costs around about £110,000. You can get one for £110,000 in Liverpool, okay? They're not rare. And then in terms of deposit, you're going to need to put down a deposit of 25%, which works out to £27,500. Stamp duty. So if you own a property already that you live in, and then you're purchasing a buy-to-let property, in addition, you're going to pay the surcharge, additional stamp duty, which is 3% at this threshold, which is £3,300. If you don't own a property already and the first ever property you're buying is a buy-to-let property, it's going to be a lot less, okay? Legal fees, conveyancing fees, that costs around about £2,200. That is an average of all of the properties, all of these averages of all of the properties that I've bought over the last 6 years, okay? So 2,200, broker fees, 580. I always use a broker because they can get access to rates and products that you can't always get going to the lenders yourselves as an individual. So brokers, to me, are invaluable and I recommend them too. Insurance, I usually pay title insurance, a survey, all about, I mentioned damp at the beginning of this video. If we're talking about buy-to-let property costs, damp is not the only issue, right, that you can get with a property, but you get a survey done, it's going to identify things like damp, things like structural issues, all of which are going to cost you money later on down the line, okay, if you choose to go ahead with that property. You can still choose to go ahead with a property that has issues that are found in a survey, but for me, the smart thing to do is to either avoid it, or if you're going to still go ahead, knock it off of the purchase price and say, like, this is what it's going to cost to fix, so I'm subtracting it from my offer, okay? And then license fees. So in more and more cities across the UK, you're now being charged a license fee to be a landlord, and that's all part of, you know, this country, this government regulating landlords, etc. It's becoming unavoidable in more and more cities across the UK. So total cash in, we've got here £35,239. That is an average, okay? So if you're going to buy a property, it doesn't necessarily have to be Liverpool, it could be any city right across the UK. If you're going to buy a property for £110,000, you can expect the buy-to-let property costs in total, all in, to be round about £35,000. And I've said that in a lot of my videos. If you're going to buy a buy-to-let in the UK, expect to pay £35,000, okay?